Hope I can support you in supporting me, supporting you to laugh more. And I am Steve, and sometimes I feel like my head is too small. And sometimes my wife feels my head is too big. So, somehow we have to find that balance between, and it's all based on, according to Arlen, it's all based on our energetics. That's what came out of the notes. So I'm gonna see how much I can do in a kind of somewhat condensed form. So I'm just not all blather, 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 which was a lot of blathering about not blathering. Okay, so I was downstairs doing some spiritual work, and my wife came in to tell me that she was going to go do some earthly things out and about in the vehicle, in her car. And she was leaving. And I had the thought, wow, how often do I get the house to myself where I can actually do these videos that are so important to so many people where there's some light, not crammed into the corner. I mean, I don't feel too crammed, but those one videos oftentimes do with the lead glass window in the background and the lead glass lamp. It's kind of a cramped space. It's not like this where I could stretch out my arms, got a lot of space around me. So anyway, I thought, okay, get up there right away because she's maybe not going to be gone that long, and just get as much as you can done in as short a period of time as you can, being a person who just but sometimes there's just so much to say, and it's all so important. Don't you feel that way sometimes? And this is one of those days. I mean, I just feel like I've gotten the psychic jackpot or something. I feel like so much information, not only is so much information coming in, but so much is happening, and I'm moving through so many things so quickly that I basically feel stoned quite a bit of the time. Actually, for the last few days, it may be that the chemicals that I did as a teenager from 68 to 71, there's a few years there where I was like with my friends, oh wow, the world is just so cool. As opposed to being, normal teenagers like, man, it's such a bummer living here in Southern California with nothing to do, with just sunny weather. It'd be very depressing. Gotta look at this phone ding for a moment. I'm gonna turn off the dinger, but my intention, so it's good to know that person has an intention, but my intention is to help us lighten up and learn to laugh more, learn to create more space for ourselves to be present, and just the magic of these times. They can be overwhelming themselves. This energy going up. So yesterday I was doing one of my 2-hour online connecting with Thomas Hubel and 1,000 other people around the world, studying and working with ancient, ancestral healing codes, clearing the traumatic energies that we discover of our ancestors together in a group of 1,000 people or more, with Thomas Hubel holding the space for these 1,000 people, clearing their ancestral energy, which is affecting thousands of their people as they clear these energies. I mean, you clear these energies and you're affecting your life partner, any children you might have, siblings that you might have, parents, whether you have them still or not. I know you had them at one point, because otherwise you wouldn't be here unless you were like a test tube or something, but you still had parents' genetics that you got, unless they're making those up now too. I just don't know. It's all beyond my comprehension, thank goodness. But this, doesn't it just look old? It says one subject theme book. And this was the book I purchased back in Ann Arbor, Michigan, probably from a bookstore, probably from a student bookstore, a theme book. That was probably, I can kind of picture it, downtown Ann Arbor. I don't know if it's still there, who knows, any of these things, but it was in 1996 that I purchased it to keep records on the process that my guide Arlen was taking me through. And by the way, I'm Steve. Some of you sort of know me. But process Arlen was taking me through to prepare me to be available, as he termed it, as one of the 4 pillars of light that were going to be midwifing the incarnation of a being. I didn't know this stuff at the time, but later on, once I had the experience, I knew what they were preparing me for, but they didn't tell me about much of anything other than what I needed to do. So I'm just going to read from it, and I may just write this whole thing out, because this was downloaded information from Arlen about what I needed to go through. I was going through in 1996 to get ready for the being Abrahamanad, that once he incarnated, he telepathically gave me this information that there was going to be 28 years of cleansing going on in this cycle between cycles. And so we're completing this thing. So just get this. There's going to be just the synchronicity. The word synchronicity is our, I can't remember the words, but it's about how synchronicity is our awareness of our telepathy. To give an example, I have this feeling, I'm down on the beach, I'm in an altered state, only from what I've been releasing, not from things I've been ingesting. I'm in an altered state, and I have a feeling that I'd like to talk with a really close friend of mine. I get in, and I'm going to just stay down at the beach, but inside, because it started to rain, so I get inside my car. I call my friend. As I'm calling my friend, I notice it says phone notification. I go, whatever, so I call my friend, and she goes, she just answers the phone very differently than she had ever answered it before. And I just broke out laughing. And we find out later, after we talk for 40 minutes about what's going on, I find out that she had answered the phone to me while she was leaving a message for me on the phone. We had called each other at the same time. That's what's going on. Finding, after 28 years, finding the theme book about the information that your guide was giving you to take you through a process to do something that now's going to complete in March of this year, now that it's this year, 2025. 1997, it was 28 years away, and now it's here. So that's what happens. We do these processes, and then some being of higher dimensionality says there's going to be this cleansing process that's going to go on for 28 years, which is a long time. Most of a person's life for those 30-somethings, most of their life. And then all of a sudden, whoop, oh, here it is. I was making a video, and I may publish this video because it cracked me up. And my last video that cracked me up cracked a whole bunch of people up. So I'm just like, okay, that's good. Because, boy, it can be so intense, and we can get so intense about it. We can just get all contracted and just stop our energy from moving. It's like, it's too much, it's too much, it's too much. Pooh. Well, why don't you use your creative abilities to make it not too much? Why don't you consider stopping saying, it's too much, it's too much, it's too much, and then being in that energy and then complaining about it, because I've been doing it. You watch my videos, I do it. It's just like, create some space for yourself. If you're just creating, and if we are creating reality, so I'm just going to say, if we are creating reality and then complaining about it, who are you complaining about it to? So me, I'm complaining about it to you. You're creating a reality that I'm not finding enjoyable. Let's blame Abrahamanad. He's a being that came in 28 years ago and just started to mess with our world. I mean, I'm not going to bullshit you and say it was going well 28 years ago. I mean, when I read the notes, I wasn't, my guide Arlen was saying, like, you could be happy right now. And he was telling me this 28 years ago. I mean, I found the book where I wrote down the messages he was giving me. And it was like October 96. November 96. 11/11/96. December of 96, January of 96, January of 97, February of 97, March of 97, March 10th of 97. It was so close to the event of March 22nd, 23rd. So on March 10th, I was only 12 days away from this major event, and I was told it was a major event. I wasn't told what it was. I was just told it's a major event and you're not ready and you need to get ready. They weren't mean per se. They were just honest, like, you're not ready. And they were telling me that in January of 1996, you're not ready. And you promised to do this to the universe, to the cosmos. Well, I'm just going to tell you, some of you have heard me before. Let me check on this. Okay, I'm just going to tell her that our session is on, and that session is going to take place in 20 minutes, and it's going to, so I just need to get this recorded, because it is, to me, super trippy. No drugs involved besides caffeine. Not a ton of caffeine, but no other drugs that I know of, except the possibility that drugs were stored in my system since the late 60s, early 70s, and they're now just coming out. And that's why I'm having these experiences, but I think it's probably because the world's changing and all these things are coming out. So my friend, I've got some amazing friends, you can imagine. They put up with me, so you know they're amazing. And so I got this message, how's it going over there? And I wrote back, and this is what I wrote. Kind of trippy. It seems a day of powerful intuition and awareness. Not all enjoyable. Not all difficult, but definitely energies I'm aware of. I helped someone clear some big, old energies first thing this morning for an hour. I found my journal from 1996 to 97, which was just prior to Abrahaminad's arrival, where Arlen was suggesting these things to me. So if you know me, you'll know, well, I've been doing it now for 28 years. But this is what he was suggesting to make it easier for what I was going through trying to get ready for this thing. He said, take hot baths, meditate, do breath work, feel everything, just feel it. He doesn't say do anything with it. He says just feel everything, not just what you describe as pleasant. Laugh more. Congratulate yourself when you notice you are present. Pat on, pat off. Let's see, the right way to pat, the left way to pat. Congratulate yourself when you notice you are present. Such good words. Continue to clear heart tension with love and joy. You'll get that. Express from your kindness, not from your hurt. Wow. Gives me chills. And then I said, yada, yada, yada. Because it was just like a lot of information. And then I wrote another little text. I said, I know, and I don't use these very often. LOL, laugh out loud, SFE, smiley face emoticon, and WTH, what the heck. Person wrote back, I love this person very much, and wrote back and said, That, that's deep. It's deep right now. We're in it. We're in the depth of it. I live with psychic witches. I know that's, you're just, it's redundant. It's a witch, she's a psychic. They go together. You can't be a witch without being a psychic. But just to understand, I am a human being in a male body. I identify as a male in a body. I have no other idea about it. Just I've been told, and I tend to believe that I'm a male. So that's okay. I frequently live with two women. The mother, who is my wife, and the daughter, who is her daughter, and is my stepdaughter. These are two amazing human beings that I feel comfortable categorizing as witches. I'm good enough in my relationship with these two women to remain in relationship with these two women, and then that's it. I want to remain in relationship with them, and I shift and change continuously to keep this real clear relationship. Not because I'm afraid of them. I am afraid of them, but not because I'm afraid of them, but because they're just wonderful human beings that I have the privilege, purely have the privilege to live with. Because these are the beings that are changing the world more than anyone. And if you figure the world's population is 8 billion, give or take. I haven't met them all. I don't know if it's true. I'm going to just tend to accept it for no reason other than I can. That there are 8 billion people on the planet in bodies. And that, let's just say, estimate 4 billion of them are men and 4 billion of them are women. And of those 4 billion that are women, there are 2 billion that know. I'm making this up. There are 2 billion that know that they're witches and might possibly have memory of being mistreated as witches. And there's 2 more billion women that haven't woken up to the fact that they're witches. So this is what we got. Men, listen up. We got half the population are witches who are possibly still working out, being pissed off about the last 13,000 years, where the patriarchy just messed with men and women, but with women much more. I'm just going to say it. Women were messed with much more than men. And I'm in a male body. And I live a good enough life that I get to live with the two of the 8 billion witches. And I'm alive. That's saying something. But we're moving into a world of the divine feminine. And we can refer to the divine feminine as the goddess. We can refer to the divine feminine as the queen, the empress, the feminine principle of oneness. But we're moving into a time that is theirs, and we get to be here, provided we learn to behave in a manner that supports the divine feminine. And if we don't, we could disappear just like that. So I'm just going to suggest, behave as if the divine feminine matters. And by doing that, you are going to discover what it means to be of the divine masculine. And it has nothing to do with what you think about it. It's a whole new world of divinity, a whole new world of the feminine, a whole new world of the masculine. Represent your side, because there is a side. There's the yin and the yang. There are the two sides of that. And we are in both sides. So we have most of the energy of one side and a dot in the energy of the other. And we're coming into the divine feminine side, and the yin-yang symbol. We're coming into the time where the feminine surrounds the earth, and the masculine is in the earth. And we're coming out, the masculine surrounding the earth, where the feminine is in the earth. And so it's a major shift, 28 years. I didn't make it up that it was going to be 28 years. Unless I made it up that I made up Abraham, who made it up that there's going to be 28 years of cleansing. But if it hasn't seemed to you, if you've been here long enough and it hasn't seemed to you that you've been going through 28 years of cleansing, then I just say, good for you. You had less resistance to it than I had. Because I feel like I'm just getting wrung out, which is good. Because I want all the changes to take place that I need to make so I get to live in that world and start fresh and new. Okay, that's enough for now. And I'll maybe make other videos later, or maybe I'll just use these as videos to just entertain all of us. All right, now let's go.